Me. Hi, this is Debbie from Simply Special Crafts. Today we're going to make some great, very cute Halloween cards. Okay, for this project we're going to use hot off the press card makers, blank cards and envelopes. These are A6. We're going to use this adorable new Boo stickers. It's one of the brand new releases. It's number 2411 from Hot Off the Press. We're going to use Dazzle's 2406 thin lines and border stickers. This is also a brand new release. I'm going to use 2 sheets for these 2 cards. We'll use 2 sheets of this 8x8 yellow color block paper. One of the reasons I like this for this project is because you have all the varying colors of yellow, and we'll put those. Then we have this nice Halloween stripe. 1 sheet will be enough to do both cards. And we'll use this chocolate brown accent. We're also going to use the Crafter's Companion tape runner, a good pair of detail scissors. I use cutter bees, I think they're the best. I'm going to use my cutter bead paper cutter. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is to cover our card with our background paper. Now, one thing I wanted to mention is that in every card that's pre-scored, you have this little line down the middle. One side's kind of the mountain and the other side is the valley. When manufacturers make these pre-scored cards, they're actually assuming that you're going to put the mountain on the inside, and they'll line up better if you put the mountain to the inside. So that's what we're going to do. The little raised portion goes to the inside. We're going to oops, it helps if you take the cap off. We'll take the tape runner and run around the edges of our card. Try and get it closer to the edge than I am as I'm reaching out here in the distance to get this in front of the camera, and run a strip across the inside. Line up your paper on your card, rub it down, and then you're going to cut it out from the back side. There's no measuring involved in covering the card front. So we have our nicely covered card front. I'm going to set that aside for a few minutes. And now we're going to cut a piece of the chocolate brown paper. We're going to cut it to 5 1/4 by 4 inches. It's really easy to get nice clean cuts using this cutter bee paper cutter, because it has a nice magnetic closure under this flap. You can hear that it holds the paper nice and tight in there. Next we're going to mount our chocolate on a piece of our yellow color block. Let's use the dark yellow portion, and I'm going to glue it on there so that I have about 1/8 of an inch of border around my brown. I'll use 2 sides of the paper, and then I will cut the other. This doesn't have to be an exact science, and I don't believe in measuring things I don't absolutely have to measure. So I'm just going to cut this out to where I have about 1/8 of an inch border. We'll glue our matted brown paper down to our finished card topper. This Crafter's Companion tape runner is really nice and strong. It's one of the better ones on the market for being able to know that your materials are going to hold nice and securely. Now, these thin line border stickers from Hot Off the Press, these new ones, you have a variety of wonderful patterns that you can use. I think we're going to use some of these little mini saw blades. You can see as I pull it off, this is really a little sticker, but it's a little sticker that can have a big impact. And I'm going to just place this sticker along the inside of my brown. You can see that I can lift them temporarily. Once they have set in place, they're there to stay. But while you're working with it, they're pretty removable. I'll put another one on the other side. Clip off that little bit extra. And you can see how much extra definition we get just for putting that little line there. And I'm going to use a solid stripe on the top and bottom of my card. Or on the top and bottom of my brown block, I should have said. So I'll just lay this little line down here. And you can see these are very forgiving. You don't have to be real precise, and they still turn out looking great. Now, if you're thrifty like I am, and you don't want to use another whole piece, you can actually butt these up, together. Sometimes these are nice to do with tweezers. And butt these strips up together without wasting those smaller pieces, and I like to do that. Here's another little piece I had left over from another project. Okay. We have our nice little borders in place, and you can see what a difference it makes to put those little black lines in there just to kind of separate, draw a distinction in the pattern. This is a good time to make sure that your card is right side up, that you know where the top fold of the card is. There's nothing more frustrating than getting all done and realizing you've just constructed your card upside down, and I think we've all done that. So find the top of your card, and then we're going to start applying some of our stickers to it. I'm going to use these cute little corner stickers from the Zoo Boo pack on the corners, upper corners here. Now they do have a little spider hanging down, so you want to make sure that you have the spider actually hanging, which means you'll have to have them at the right angle. And you can see when I put those on that they're actually really, really forgiving. If I don't like the way that I have it applied, I can take my nail, gently lift it, and put it back down again. So don't be intimidated using these because they're really forgiving. So we put in our two corners. Next, we're going to peel off a pumpkin off our sheet, and we're going to, actually I should have cut my paper first. I'm going to cut a little piece of paper to go behind the pumpkin. It doesn't have to be very big, it just has to be wide enough to cover where his eyes are going. My pumpkin here again. And I'm just going to put my pumpkin in front of that, or in front of that little piece of paper, and I'm going to cut off the extra. It doesn't have to be fancy. Nobody's going to see this part, but it's going to give us this cute little glowing eyes. And you can see that we got our pumpkin with yellow behind him. We're going to do the same thing to the witch. Now, this witch is a big sticker, and she's actually a little bit delicate, so take your time taking this off the sheet. These, most dazzles are pretty tough, but these dazzles that are made on the glittery paper are a little bit more fragile, and they're a little easier to tear, so take your time taking that off your page. They're all straightened out there. And then just put her on a piece of our yellow paper. Now you'll notice that I'm actually going to put her to where all I actually have to cut out is the circle. You're not going to see any of that behind the black, so there's no reason taking the time to cut all of that out. And we'll just carefully trim around our outline here. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit of adhesive to the back of my witch here. And I got to turn this around so I can see it to place my witch. And I'm going to put her so the center of my sticker is just about at the center of the card. And just pat her down. Now I'm going to get my Rest in Peace sticker off my sticker sheet. I'm going to apply it to the corner here, roughly touching that black border on the bottom. I'm going to get my pumpkin, and I'm going to put just a little adhesive on the back of my pumpkin too. Maybe. There we go. Just a little adhesive on that paper. And I like to overlap things, so I'm actually going to overlap the pumpkin a little bit down onto the border. And finally, I'm going to peel off a bunch of these little stars, and they're kind of scattered around your sticker sheet. So I'm going to peel a bunch of the little stickers. I'm going to stick them around on our page, just kind of fill that space up. If you want to put in a Happy Halloween or a boo or some other kind of stamp, you have plenty of room on the face of this card to do that. I'm not adding a word, so I'm going to fill my space with my stickers. And the last thing we're going to do is open up the card. We can't have it be totally plain inside. So I'm going to get a little piece of tiny rickrack, starting at the center. I'm going to add myself a little piece. I'm going to turn around the other way. I'm going to add a little piece of spider web here, and I'm going to dangle a spider on the inside of my card, just so I don't have a totally blank page. We have some fun little spiders that are on our sticker sheet as well. Isn't that kind of a fun addition? And here we go. We have completed our witch card.